Punjab, Haryana and Rajasthan, 3 states and 1 river. Today we are going to discuss in the water politics of India about the Ravi Beas dispute. We are going to understand that why for several decades this river has been a region of confrontation between the state governments of Punjab and Haryana, and why this problem or why this dispute still has not been resolved despite Supreme Court order. So let us try to understand that what is the region behind Ravi Beas dispute, or what is the nature of the dispute. So first of all, if you look at the two states of Punjab and Haryana, the northern western states of India, they are fighting over the share of water from the Ravi Beas river system. Both of this river, as you know, is the tributary of the Indus river system. Ravi river originates from the Himachal Himalayas, and the same we can say Beas river for also. Now basically 214 kilometers of canal was planned to divert water from the Ravi Beas system to the Yamuna system, which passes through Haryana to meet the demand of Haryana. The length of this Sutlej Yamuna canal was 214 km. If you look at the current status, only 92 kilometers of this canal has been built. Remaining 122 km was stalled due to the objection raised by Punjab, and also because of the continuous dispute related to this particular matter between both of the state. 44 plus years have passed since construction of this canal began in 1982, and despite that, canal construction has not resumed, or it has not basically this increased number, the length of canal still has not increased. Now the most recent development came in 2025 when we see the confrontation becoming more serious and severe when the Punjab police physically was present at the site of the dam to stop the release of water to Haryana, even though it was ordered by the Supreme Court of India. Similarly, in this year of the month of February, what we see is that tribunal had to cancel a site visit. Tribunal was expected to visit Ravi Beas Dispute Tribunal, Water Tribunal, to visit the area to understand how much water is available, how much water can be supplied or diverted to Haryana. It has to cancel the visit because the farmers of Punjab blocked the entire road to stop it. And in this particular situation, the biggest question, the core question that comes into mind, can a state simply refuse to share the water of a river, even if it is set by Supreme Court, or even when a water sharing agreement existed in the past as such? So let us try to understand in more detail about this dispute. So first of all, if you look at the disputed area, so disputed area we have seen is related to Ravi river and Beas river. Both of them, as you know, are the rivers of Himalayan origin, originating from the Himachal Himalayas near the this Rohtang Pass as such, and then it flows through Punjab, and finally then these rivers then enter the Sutlej system, which carry water to Indus river in the Pakistan as such. Now the key infrastructure on these rivers you will see is the Bhakra dam on the Sutlej, Pong dam also we have here, and both of these dam, Nangal dam also we have here. Both of these dam are managed by Bhakra Beas Management Board, a dedicated board that we have established, BBMB it is called as. Sutlej Yamuna Link Canal already we have discussed. The objective was to transfer water from the Sutlej system to the Yamuna system, and this is the current status. The states that share the interest, share the water in this particular river system is Punjab. This is where both of the rivers flow, and Beas river actually joins Sutlej in Punjab near Ropar, near Harike as a site of the unfinished canal stage. Haryana used to be part of the Punjab state itself, or both states we can see in the past were merged together, joined together. It was carved out as a separate state in 1966 and has no direct river access. It depends on the Sutlej Yamuna Link Canal only to get the water from the Ravi Beas system. Rajasthan, we can say it is slightly more to the west. It has a secondary allocation. It is secondary allocation holder under the 1981 agreement that was signed related to sharing of water. If you try to understand and look at this entire area on the map, this first of all, if you look at the Sutlej Yamuna Link Canal, so this river, as you can see, is the Sutlej river. On this you will find Bhakra dam, we have Nangal dam, and before that you have the reservoir that is called as Govind Sagar reservoir. This just after the Bhakra dam is where you have the Yamuna Sutlej link head. That means from here water has to be diverted. Now you can see from here the water is flowing in Sutlej river in its original channel, and from this you can see this is the link canal, Sutlej Yamuna Link Canal, that transfers water from the Sutlej river to where? To the Canal region of Haryana, and then from Canal region it is then connected to Yamuna river. So that's how the linking is done as such. If you look at the other important structure here, so Beas Beas is tributary of Sutlej. They meet at Ropar area. On Beas, you will find the Pong Dam as such. And similarly, Ravi flowing further to the northern western side. On the Ravi, you will have Madhavpur. So you can see from Ravi to Beas, water is being transferred. Here also you will have Theen Dam, you will find. And then from Beas to Sutlej, water is being transferred. So that means from Ravi to Sutlej, Ravi to Beas, Beas to Sutlej, and finally the water is transferred from the Sutlej river to the Yamuna river. That is the overall project, if you look at the overall brief of this project as such. Now the question is that how did the dispute begin? Dispute began when Haryana became a separate state, was carved out of the Punjab, and then it raised the water share question, because Haryana also need to get some share of the Sutlej river system. Then in 1981, a fresh CM level agreement was carried out between the state governments of Punjab and Haryana. There it was decided that total 17.17 million acre feet of the water that is flowing through the Sutlej system, it would be split among 3 states. These are Punjab, Haryana and Rajasthan. And in the following year of 1982, then to allow the water to be shared from the Sutlej system to Haryana system, a canal was proposed and construction began. Sutlej Yamuna Link canal that we have discussed. It faced severe resistance in Punjab immediately. It's not that the project later on became contentious or disputed. Project was contentious and disputed since the time of its construction itself. Then in 1987, a tribunal was set up. This is called as Eradi Tribunal. Eradi Tribunal submits only an interim report. It never submitted a finalized report. That also can be considered as reason why no such agreement have been reached after so many years has passed. 2004 is when a major decision was taken by the state government of Punjab as it terminated the Agreement Act. Agreement Act means 1981 Agreement Act to share the water between all the 3 states unilaterally, and it annulled the 1981 deal as such, and that is the reason why we can say that Sutlej Yamuna Link Canal never took off after that. 2016 is when Supreme Court was hearing into the petition against such termination, unilateral termination filed by the Haryana government, and Supreme Court then declared that the act of Punjab government in 2004 is unconstitutional in nature. The state government by itself unilaterally cannot terminate or cannot quash or basically annul the act that has been shared, that has been we can say most important act to determine the sharing of river water between various states of India. And Supreme Court many times in its earlier judgment also has quoted that when talk about the interstate river, it is not a property of a single river. It cannot be controlled by single state. Actually, it should be shared by several states depending upon the flow pattern and all that. So it is kind of common property of the people of India. So 2025 is when we have the flashpoint. As you have seen, Punjab police physically blocked BBMP order water release. BBMP here stands for Bhakra Beas Management Board. It has ordered that certain amount of water has to be released to Haryana near the site of Bhakra Dam, but that order could not be fulfilled as Punjab police basically physically obstructed it. If you look at the legal architecture of this entire issue, we can see that entry 17 versus entry 56. We have seen in many of the river disputes earlier, when you talk about water in isolated manner, it is a state subject, it is in the state list, but interstate rivers falls under the union list. The same constitutional basis as every interstate river dispute applies. So interstate river water dispute tribunals have been created in many of the river cases. Now in the case of Ravi Beas, another article kicks in here called as Article 131. This is referring to the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court directly to look into the matters of dispute between the states of India. So Haryana's core case is an original suit between the states that was filed in 1996, a distinct route from the tribunal first path used in most of the dispute. Now what basically it means is that generally in the other river dispute, it is the tribunal that determines that how to resolve this dispute, how to bring or develop consensus among the state and such based on the technical and scientific studies. Here, in the case of Punjab and Haryana, the matter is directly being referred to Supreme Court and is being also heard by Supreme Court itself. Eradi Tribunal, as we have discussed, 1985 to 1987, set up after the Rajiv Longowal Accord was signed between the Prime Minister of India at that time, Rajiv Gandhi, and Sant Longowal. Its 1987 report remained only interim. No final award has ever been issued. And Punjab Termination Act, we have discussed, it has been declared as unconstitutional by the Supreme Court of India as such. Now, if you look at the parallel, what is the uniqueness of this particular dispute is that there are 3 parallel unresolved tracks on which this dispute is currently being heard. So, 2016 Supreme Court Constitution Bench, It unanimously declared Punjab 2004 Termination of Agreement Act unconstitutional. And what it said, we have seen that this has been declared as unconstitutional, but what Supreme Court has stated here, it has reaffirmed that a state cannot legislate its way out of a binding interstate water sharing commitment. What does it mean? Punjab government directly, by not executive action, terminated this agreement. It rather passed a resolution through the Punjab State Legislative Assembly, where it says that it will not adhere to the agreement that was reached between the three states in year 1981, and this decision of the State Legislative Assembly itself has been quashed by the Supreme Court as declared and deemed unconstitutional as such. Now the three parallel tracks, if you look, track 1, as we have seen under Article 131 of Supreme Court, original suit that was filed by Haryana in year 1996. Track 2 is a tribunal has been created here also, because the Ravi Beas water has to be diverted to the Yamuna River. So Ravi Beas Water Tribunal, it is currently being chaired by Justice Vineet Saran in February 2026, and it continues to work on the technical fact-finding mission to realize and understand to what extent water can be shared between the state, to what extent linkage of canal is feasible or not, and including site visits and all. And third is, and it is this tribunal which it wanted to visit the site of this area, Punjab farmers, they protested, they blocked the road, and they could not carry out this particular exercise as such. Track 3 is Punjab has come up with a new request. It does not agree with the findings of Ravi Beas Water Tribunal or the original tribunal, Radhi Tribunal for example. It demands that under the 1956 Act, as the water availability in the river has continuously declined, a new tribunal, a fresh tribunal should be created. That tribunal should do a fresh study of the entire data again. Based on that, new compromise can be reached. Now, how Ravi Beas Water Tribunal or water dispute is different. So, three separate legal processes are running in parallel, and the problem is no single forum yet is positioned to deliver a final binding resolution, a final binding solution for such. So, three parallel unresolved tracks, but none of them are currently in the position to provide a lasting solution to this particular dispute. Now the biggest question comes that what is the stand of the three state governments who are dependent upon the Ravi Beas river. So first, if you talk about Haryana, Haryana says that based on the 1981 agreement, we are we can say entitled to have about 3.83 million acre feet of the water share. This also is affirmed by the Supreme Court, as it has been declared, the Punjab government's decision has been declared as illegal as such, unconstitutional as such. Haryana government also says that already 92 km of canal stretch they have constructed. Project is stalled because of the Punjab's obstruction. Punjab should remove its obstruction. Punjab should let the canal be constructed as such. And also Haryana says that they want this water not for some other purposes, but simply to address acute drinking water stress, especially in the southern part of Haryana, which can get water, receive water from the Sutlej Yamuna Link Canal as such. And also it has said the problem has exacerbated due to the depletion of ground level. Ground level in many areas has depleted to as far as 1700 feet, and that makes it extremely challenging in extraction of groundwater for various purposes. A signed court of agreement cannot be walked back because one party regrets the term that it has stated about the Punjab government decision. Punjab on the other hand says that the data on the basis of which river water was shared in 1981, it is outdated. It does not apply anymore. Why it does not apply more? Because the availability that was determined in 1981 was about 17.17 million acre feet. On this basis, Haryana was granted share of 3.83 MAF. But now in 2013, the recent report suggests that it has reduced to almost 13.38 million acre feet, and that's why a new tribunal should again look into the matter of distribution. Also, Punjab says that it has its own demand. Why? Because 79% of state area has similar problem like Haryana, where the groundwater was overexploited, especially in the years following Green Revolution, and that has further led to drying in many of the areas. Many of the water-rich region of Punjab that was rich in the 1970s, 1980s, it is possible that they may run dry post 2029. So Punjab also has to look at its future interest, future water interest. Also, it says that as the central food basket interest, its own water needs must be weighed, not treated as residual. Now, why food basket? Because you know that Punjab is considered as the agricultural heartland of India, where you have both Kharif and Rabi crops that is being grown. It is the region from where large volume of rice, wheat and sugarcane is cultivated. So, agricultural requirement, water requirement for agriculture is humongous in this state. That also should be weighed, should be taken into consideration. That is one of the demand of Punjab. Apart from that, as we have seen, it want a fresh tribunal looking into the present changes in the present availability of water as such. Rajasthan holds its own allocated share under the 1981 agreement, interested mainly in ensuring the dispute does not disrupt this existing canal and dam supply. Indira Gandhi Canal is important canal that is drawing water to the state of Rajasthan from the Harike, where you have the confluence of Beas River and the Sutlej River. So Rajasthan state has its own interest. It just is worried that this particular dispute does not cause reduction in the availability of water in Rajasthan. Now, where things stand, so again to repeat, 13 August 2025, SC has given a fixed deadline to negotiate it. Again, negotiation failed. February 2026, tribunal site visit was cancelled due to the heavy protest by Punjab farmer. 0 km. New construction since 1982 is 0 km. Just the original stretch of 92 km that was built still exists today. Remaining more than 100 kilometers of canal has to be completed. The 122 km Punjab stretch has not yet progressed as such. Farmer unions continue to physically resist any related activity. So it is not only about the state government, it is also because the local farmers do not want to share this water with the Haryana, and that also can create a challenge, because many times Punjab government says that it is the interest of its population, interest of its resident, it takes into account whenever it objects to such kind of canal project. February 2026, the scheduled RBWT visit was cancelled, that we have discussed. Largely why? Because of the physical resistance by the Punjabi farmer. Tribunal continues functioning under Justice Vineet Saran, as we have discussed. Now 2025, Bhakra Beas Management Board stand-up was seen, where it ordered release of almost 8,500 cubic of water to Haryana, Rajasthan and Delhi. 8,500 cubic means cubic second. Every second, you can imagine 8,500 meter cube of water is flowing through a certain area. Compliance was delayed by Punjab, and then police was deployed to block the release at the dam site. Supreme Court then in May 2025 urged both states to work with the centre and set 13 August 2025 as the deadline for an amicable fix, but again to no avail. Now, what mechanism exists to settle the dispute? That is a question that might come into our mind. So, first of all, a conclusive tribunal award is very much required, because right now all the state government and state are in the state of uncertainty that how much water they need or how much water they can get based on the availability of water in the Ravi Beas system. So, either the Ravi Beas Water Tribunal itself complete the work, or a new tribunal as being demanded in Punjab should be created, delivering a binding database location. That means whatever is the decision of this particular tribunal, it should not be questioned anymore by any of the state. They have to agree to this. Second possibility is that, as we have seen, matter is also sub judice in the Supreme Court of India. Supreme Court can also broker a negotiated settlement under the Article 131, through which it is hearing the original suit as such. The third possibility or prospect is a joint water availability study. Currently, the problem is Punjab says that water level has declined, water volume has declined. Haryana still is adamant that its original share as guaranteed by 1981 agreement should be upheld, should be guaranteed. So that's why an independent trusted hydrological assessment addressing Punjab's declining availability claim should be made. Based on that, again, Haryana government can also be convinced that indeed water volume has decreased, and that's why revisiting of share is required here. Other is Bhakra Beas Management Protocol reform. What we are seeing is the many time Bhakra Beas Management Board is influenced by the political tension in the state, influenced by the political decision making in the states. So that kind of tribunal or management board should be insulated from the politics. They should completely take action, release water based on the protocol, and their routine decision should not escalate into stand-up. If the water volume increases, based on that, transfer of water can be made in the canal system and all that. Next is obviously the problem, as you can see, is in both Punjab and Haryana, where groundwater is rapidly depleting. The amount of water available in the river has shrunk, and the demand for water is continuously on rise due to the intensive irrigation, intensive cropping, intensive agriculture that is practiced here, largely of the water intensive crop. Plus, for irrigation, we are still dependent upon the traditional canal-based irrigation, where the water water requirement is humongous in nature. So, we also have to carry out demand-side reform, that is tackling Punjab's paddy-driven groundwater overuse and Haryana's southern district depletion as such. Unless and until we do not manage the demand side, in the future again the problem would re-emerge because the trend would continue. So shifting to micro irrigation, growing less water intensive crop, water efficient crop we can say, such as millets, pulses, oil seeds and all can be done. And next is the role of central government is very important here. In the earlier cases we have seen, for example, whether it is the Godavari dispute, whether it is the Kaveri dispute, Mahanadi dispute, in all the cases to some extent central government has played a critical role of we can say important role in mediation with real deadline, and there should be consequences for non-compliance rather than open-ended extension after extension as such. Once the tribunal is able to give some award, give some final binding decision, after that there should not be any question regarding the sharing of water. There should not be any delay in the compliance by Punjab or Haryana. Now the unresolved question obviously is, but if you look at the entire Ravi Beas water dispute, it seems that it is a story of a canal that is frozen in time, a canal construction that began in 1980s, but after that it has never took off, it has never, the length never increased as such. So 4 decades on, the SYL canal remains the clearest symbol in this series of how a signed agreement in 1981, how a court order in 2025, and that is also from the apex court of India, how a tribunal that is working on a technical fact-finding mission, but all of these are completely failing as such and still not move a single spade of earth without political consent on the ground. So this tells you the complexity of the problem and the challenge that we face when we are looking at the Ravi Beas water dispute. So that's all for this particular video. I hope you got just an idea behind the region behind the water dispute and how in the future we might expect to see a solution coming from the proceedings that is currently going on 3 different parallel tracks. So that's all about for this particular tribunal. We'll come soon in the next series where we discuss about the other water disputes in India. Thank you very much.